Hello friends, welcome back to Snipper Coder, and this is our second episode for our Flutter WooCommerce series. And in this episode we will learn about how we can integrate our categories from our WooCommerce to our Flutter application. So this is our application, and here we will also learn how to create a bottom navigation and all. So you can see here in the bottom we have that shop icon, then we have this category icons, then we have the cart icon, then we have the account icon. And when we click on the categories, you will see the load is loading here, and it will load all the categories from our WooCommerce in our Flutter application. You can see here we are getting all the data from our WooCommerce. We are getting here 6 categories from our WooCommerce. So before starting a video, if you are new to our channel, subscribe to the channel by clicking on the subscribe button and click the bell icon to get notified about our latest videos. Thank you. So we required 4 packages in our application, and the first one is a Flutter _SVG, and this will be used for loading the SVG images in our Flutter application. And the second package which we are going to use is Flutter _stagger grid view, and this will be used for showing that categories and all. And the third one we are going to use is HTTP package, and this one will be used for doing the API integration with our Flutter application and the REST API integration. And the last package which we are going to use in our application is the snippet code _utils, and this we are going to use for the multiple utilities which we have created. So now let's move to the code part. So this is our application, and first of all we have to go to the pub/spec, and there we have to add all the packages, and here we will add all the packages here. After that we have to also add the asset folder, and here we will remove all this commented code. Here we will add the assets. After that we will add this asset/icon folder, and there we will have all the SVG for our bottom navigation and all. So here we have to do that folder structure and all. Here we will first create a new folder that is pages. Inside that we will add all the pages for our application. After that we will create new folder that is models, that will be used for our all the models classes which we are going to use in our Flutter application. Then we will create one new folder that is utils. Here inside the pages we have to create 2 folders. First one is the dashboard, second one will be the categories, because in this video we are going to cover 2 things. First one is the dashboard, that will be have the bottom navigations, and the second one will be for our categories page. Inside the dashboard we will create new file that will be dashboard _page.dart file. We will make it as a stateful widget, and we will name it as a dashboard page. So now we have to go to the main.dart file. Here we have to remove all the unnecessary code here, and we will remove this one. Here also we have to remove this theme, home, everything we have to remove. First of all we have to disable our debug show check mod banner which is shown in our application, and we will make it as a false here. Then we have to create the routes here, and before that we have to create one widget for our default route. Default home is equal to dashboard page. So it will be like whenever the application is loaded we have to show the first default page here, and that will be our dashboard page. And here we have to put the routes here. We will make it as a string comma widget builder. Now here we have to give default one context _ default home. Here we have to put this one. Yeah. So now what we have to do, we have to create the bottom navigation, and for that we have to go to our dashboard folder. Inside that we will create one new file that will be our navigator _item.dart file. And here first of all we will create one class here, and we will name it as a navigator item, and we have to put here few variables. First one will be our string type of label, icon path, then the index here, int type of index, then we have the final visit screen, and here we have to import our material package, and here we have to create a constructor also, this dot label, this dot icon path, this dot index, this dot screen. So now we have to create one static list collection for this navigator icon, and there we will put our all the navigator for our dashboard, and we will put here list navigator item, navigator items is equal to, and we'll make the collection here. Inside that we have to create here navigator item, and we have to give the first name shop. Here we have to put the path icon for the icon, assets icon slash shop underscore icon dot svg, index will be 0, and screen will be like what screen will be open when we click on that navigation. And here we are just putting here size box because we have not going to create that screen in this video. Same way we will copy this one. Here we have to put the comma, then we will copy this one and we will paste 3 times, and second one will be our categories, and here we have to put the icon name as a category icon. Then we have the cart here, and we will put here cart icon. Then we have the last page, that will be account, and we will put here account underscore icon. And for this category we have to create one new page inside our categories, and we will name it as a categories underscore page dot file, and we will make it as a stateful widget, stateful, and we'll put here categories page, and now we will link this page over there. So now what we have to do, we have to go to our dashboard page, and there we have to write line of code here. First of all, we have to put here one variable that will be in type of current index, and this will be used when, like, if we click on the shop icon, it will make the index as a 0. When we click on the categories, it will make the index as a 1, and in the same way for that cart page and the account page also. Here we have to make it as a scaffold widget. Inside that we have to put the body here, and for the body we are going to use this navigator items, and we will pick it from our this current index dot screen. So whatever the index for that particular tab, it will show that screen which we mentioned here. And for the bottom navigation bar, we have to make here one widget for the bottom navigation bar, and we will name it as a build bottom navigator bar, and from here we will return bottom navigation bar. Now here we have to put the background color, and we are using here white color for the background, colors dot white color. Then we have the current index, we will pick it from our this variable current index. Then we have the on tab event, and whenever any tab will be clicked, then we have to call here this tab event. We have to call it set state, and we will change the state for that current index is equal to this index. Here we have to remove this curly brackets. Then we have to give the type here, and here we are using bottom navigator bar type is equal to fix. Then we are using here selected item colors. For that we have to create one utility here for the colors also, and we will create new file here colors dot file. Here we will make one class, that is class app colors, and we have to put 2 variables here. One is for the primary color and one is for the dark color, and we are using these 2 colors. One is a green and second one dark gray for that our text and all. So here we will change it to app color dot primary color. Then we have to give the styling for our selected label, and here we have to use the font weight, and we are using a font weight .w600. Same we have to do for our unselected label style also. We will put here unselected label style. Unselected item color we are using here colors dot black color. Then here for the items we are mapping here with the navigator bar items dot map, and here we have to create one more function here. Bottom navigator bar item will be our return type, and we will put here get navigator bar item, and we have to pass here the collection and that object here, and we'll put here navigator getter item, and from here we will check the color here. Color icon color is equal to item dot index is equal to current index. Then we will pick it from our app color dot primary color, else we will pick it from our colors dot black color. And here we will check if that, so here we will check if that icon is selected here, then we have to make that color as a green, else we will make it as a black color, default color. And from here we will return bottom navigator bar item. We'll pass a label, that will be item dot label. Icons we are using here svg picture dot assets, and here we have to import here this package Flutter svg. So here it is added now, and we have to put here svg pitch dot asset, and we have to pick it from our asset folder, and we'll pass an item dot icon path. Then we have to put the color here, and we are using a icon color. Now here we have to call this function, and we have to pass here e, that will be this item, and dot to list. So what we did here, we have created a dashboard page here, and inside that we are just calling this body part, and in the body also we have to call this function bottom navigator bar, and we have to call this function, and we will link here. And here in the build bottom navigation bar we have returning here that bottom navigation bar with the background color white. Current index we are passing for this variable. Then we have the on tab event. When we click on any of that tab, it will open that particular page. Then we have the type here. We are telling here that bottom navigation bar type will be fixed. Then we have the item color. We are putting here green color for that selected items, and by default unselected item color will be our black color. In the item we are just created one function for the get navigator bar item, and inside that we are just returning here our bottom navigation bar item, and we are putting here to list. So now let's run the application and see the bottom navigation bars are coming or not. So here you can see we are getting the navigation here. We have our first icon, that is shop. After that we have our categories, then we have the cart icon, then we have the account icon, and here in the category we click, we will get nothing because we have not yet created anything. So now let's move further, and we will do the integration with our API for our category page and all. So first of all what we will do, we will go to our lib folder, and inside that we have our model folders, and there in the models we have to create a new file that will be our category model, and we will name it as a category underscore model dot file. And here we have to create our class here, class category model, and there we have to create 3 variables, and from the API we will fetch only category ID, category name, and the image. Here we will put in type of category ID. Then we have our string type of category name. Then we have our image model, and we have to create one image model class also, class image model. there we will have only one variable, string type of URL. Here we have to create a constructor here, image model, this dot URL. Then we will put here image model dot from JSON map string dynamic JSON URL is equal to JSON, and that variable name will be src, that means source. Now here we have to make it image model, or we can put here image. Now we have to create a constructor here, category model, this dot category ID, this dot category name, this dot image. Now here also we will do the same, category model dot from JSON, and we will pass here map string dynamic JSON. First variable will be our category ID is equal to JSON, and we will pass here ID. Same we will do for our category name also, and here we will change it to name. Now we have to do for our image also. We will put here image is equal to JSON image. If not of null, then we will call here image model from JSON, and we will pass here JSON will be our JSON, and we will put here null. And here also we can do one thing, like if we get any and sign in our name and all, that also we can replace here by putting here replace all, and we will put here this like this way. And here we have to make one small function here for converting our all the list of JSON into our proper list collection for this category model and all. And for that we will put here this one, that will be return type as a list of category model, and name will be categories from JSON, and here we will pass the JSON, whatever the JSON we are getting from the API. And from here we will call list category model dot from, and we will do the mapping and all. So now let's move further, and we will create one new file here, that will be our config file, config dot file, and we will create here class config, and we have to create couple of variables. First one will be static type of string key, and here we'll put our secret keys and all. Second one will be our secret key, and third one will be our string type of API URL. And here you have to make sure you are putting the keys which we have created in our episode number 1 in our WooCommerce admin panel. There we have created those keys and all, that you have to put here. If you have not put that, it will not work. And here we'll put our URL, that will be groceryapp.snippetcoder.com. Then we have to create one more variable, string type of API endpoint, and we'll put here /wp json/wc/v3. Now our next variable will be static string, that will be categories URL is equal to products/categories. So what we did here, we have just created one config file. There we define our all the keys, secret keys, API URL, endpoints, and the category URLs and all. So now let's move further, and we will create our API service file. Now here we have to create one more folder, and we will name it as a API folder. Inside that we will create one file, that will be API_service.dart file. Now first of all we have to import here, import package http.dart as http. Then here we have to create class API service, and here we have to create the variable static var client is equal to http.client. Now we have to create one function. We will make it as a static variable, and we will make this function as a static here, static, and return type will be future. List category model will be our output which we have created here. This category model, that will be the list category model we will return from this function, and we will name it as a get categories, and we will make this one as a async here. Now here we have to pass the request headers. We'll put here map string request headers, and we are passing here content type application JSON. Here we have to make a variable for the query string, map string dynamic query string is equal to, and here we have to create couple of variables. First one will be our consumer key, and we have to map it with our config dot key. Same way we have to do for the secret also, secret, and here also we change it to consumer secret. Then here we have to pass here one more thing, that will be parent, and here we are only getting parent category only, and we will pass here as 0. So now what we have to do, we have to only get the selected field from our API, and for that what we will do, we will put here underscore fields, and we will put here brackets. Now here we have to make one array, and here we have to define the column name which we have to return from this API, and we have to return here ID, name, image dot source. Three things we have needed in from this API, so that's why we will put here fields variable, and it will only return us these three variables in our API. And then we have to put here per page, means we have to show 100 records per page, and we are putting here hard coded 100. Then we have to put here page 1. So now what we have to do, we have to create one variable here where URL is equal to, and we will make the URL here uri.https, and you have to make sure your domain name will be on HTTPS proper SSL, else it will not work properly. Now here we have to put here config.api URL, then we have config.api endpoint plus config.api category URL, and here we have to pass query strings. Now here we have to create one more variable where response is equal to await client dot get request, because this is the get request, and we have to pass a URL, and here we have to pass the headers as a request headers. Now here we will check if response dot status code is equal to 200. That means the success we are getting at 200, and we are getting the data from the server. We will put here where data is equal to JSON decode, and we have to pass here response dot body, and from here we will return the function which we have created in our model file, and we'll put here categories from JSON, and we will pass this one. So what it will do, whatever the JSON string we are getting there, it will convert that JSON into our proper model file and all, and it will return from here. In the else condition, we will return here null. So what we did here, we have created one class that is API service, and that class we are going to use in our whole application for the multiple function and all. Then we have created the request headers here. After that we are creating the query string, which is very important here, and we have to pass a consumer key and consumer secret key. If we not pass this one, the API will not return any data. Then we are passing here parent as a 0. That means we have to only get the categories which are parent categories. No child category will be, or any subcategory will not return from here. If we want to return the subcategory also, you can comment this line of code. And here in the fields, we have to mention that what type of data we have to return from this API. And we are just requiring 3 variables like ID, category name, and the image.source. Then we have the per page, we have to return 100 record per page, and the page number we are passing here 1. Then here we have to make one variable, that is URL is equal to URI.https, and here we are passing here API URL. Then we have our API endpoints, category URLs. Then we have the query string, and after that we are just getting the response by calling client.getRequest by passing the URL and the request headers. Then we are checking here if the response code is 200, that means we are getting a success from the server. Then we are just decoding the JSON which we are getting by calling here JSON decode response.body pass we are passing here. And then we are just calling our function, that is category from JSON, and we are passing this data here that will decode all the data and return us the list and all. And in else we are calling here return null. So now let's move further and let's do the integration of this API in our UI part. So now we have to create our category UI, and after that we will integrate the API with it. So first of all, we have to go to our pages. Inside that we have the categories folder, and there we have to create one file, and we will name it as a category underscore item card visit dot file. Now we have to make it as a stateless visit, and here we will name it as a category item card visit. Here we have to create few variables, and we will make it as a final category model as a name as a item. Then we have final double height is equal to 150, and this will be the height for that particular box for the category. Then we have our final double width is equal to 175. Then we have final color, border color is equal to constant, and we will use here gray color from our app colors dot dark gray. And here we have to pass the required field, that will be our this dot item, this dot, and we will make it as a required here. Then here we have to put that border radius also, double of border radius is equal to 10 or is equal to 18. Then we have to create one more variable, final color, and that we will pass from here, this dot color is equal to colors dot blue color. So here we have to return here column visit, because it will be like image, and below that image we have the category name. Then we have main axis alignment, and we are using a main axis alignment dot center. Cross axis alignment, we are using a cross axis alignment dot center. Then we have our children here, and we are using a center visit. And a child, we are using a container, and we are doing the decoration with our box decoration. And a color, we are passing here color dot opacity dot 1. Then we have our border radius, and we are using here with our border radius dot circular, and we will pass this variable. After that we have our child here, and we are using a column visit. Cross axis alignment, we are using a cross axis alignment dot center. Then we have the children here, and we are using a container. Height will be 90 and width will be 100. Then we have the child here, and we are using a size box. Width we are using here 80. Child we are using here our image dot network image. We are picking from our item dot image model dot URL. And after that we have to show the text here, and we will use a size box. Height we are using here 30. Child we are using a text widget. We pass here item dot category name, style and here we have to apply the style. Here we'll put a text style, font size 12. We have the text align, and we are using a text align dot center. So what we did here, we have created one category item card widget, and there we have our column widget. Inside that we have our two columns. First one will be our for the image, and second one will be for the text for the category name. And here we will put constant. So now let's move further, and we will do the integration of the API with this card widget and our category page. We will open here category page.dart file. So first of all, we have to create one widget here. There we will use our staggered widget. We will name it as a get staggered grid, and in the parameter we will pass here list type of category model data here, and from here we will return staggered dot count, and here cross count we are using here 4. That means we will show 4 category in the one row. Then we have our main axis spacing, we are using a 4.0. Then we have our cross axis spacing, we are using a 1. Now in the children's we will put here data dot as map dot entries dot map, and we will map it with our widget here, and here we will write index is equal to e dot key, and on the basis of this key we will get the data, and we will map it with our category model. Category item is equal to e dot value, and from here we will return gesture detector on tap event. We are not passing anything for now. In the child we are using here, and before that we have to put here to list. Now in the child we have to put here container, and the padding we are using here dot all 10, and here we have the child, and we are using here category image card category item card widget, and we will pass here this category item. And for the colors we can create here one array for the colors, multiple colors we can show randomly for each record. These are the color we are using here, grid colors, and we will pass here hex color, grid color, and here we have to pass the index mod of grid color dot length, and here we will pass the brackets here. So now we have to create one more widget here, and that will be used for the future builder, and we will call the APIs and all. We will put here widget underscore category list categories list, and from here we will return future builder. Here in the future we have to put our API service dot get categories, and in the builder we have to put here two things. First one will be our build context, then we have our snapshot. We will use here async snapshot list category model, and here we will check if model dot has data, then we will return here this function. In the brackets we will pass this model dot data, and in default we will just call here our circular progress indicator, and now we have to call this category list from our here, and here we have to make the scaffold widget first. Then we have to pass the body with safe area. Then we have the child here, and we are using a column widget. Inside that we have all the children's, and first of all we have to give some spacing in the top. We will put here size box height 20. Then we have to show the label here, and we will put here constant center widget. Child we are using a text widget, all categories, and we will give some styling here, style text style font size 20, font weight dot bold. After that, we have to give some spacing here. We will use a size box, height 20. Then we have to use the expanded widget. In the child, we are using a single child scroll view, and because we have to give some scrolling also for the category list and all. And physics, we are using a constant, always scrollable physics. Child, we have to pass here this underscore category list. So what we did here, we have created a category page, and there we have created two widgets. First one for the staggered grid, and there we are just doing the looping and all, and we are just calling our category image card widget, and from there we are just passing this category image data. Then we have our category list widget, and there we are just calling our future builder with our API calling and all, and there we are checking if we have any data. Then we are just calling this function, and by default we are just showing a circular progress indicator. So now let's run the application, see is it working or not. So now if I click on the categories, you can see load is loading here. You can see here we are getting the data here, and there we have our images. Before that we have our all categories label here, and then we have the images for our category. Then we have our category names here coming. You can see here this is scrolling also because we have used here single scroll view. And in the same way, if we refresh again, it will load the data. So in the next video, we will cover when we click on this category, we will open the product listing and all. So that's all in this video. I hope you like the video. Don't forget to subscribe channel, like, comment, share. I will come back soon with another awesome video. Thank you for watching the video.